Perfect. All right. So this is the first edition of our Deep Dive in Marketing Live series. This series was requested by our retailers using the Marketing Suite. And these are the top things that they wanted covered and they wanted deep dives going into. So in this episode, we're going to go over recipient lists and customer list building. So we're going to start off with the top recipient lists that I feel are really, really helpful when putting together a campaign. So the first one is going to relate to new customers. So you can actually make a list that will allow you to communicate with customers that have, recently made their very first purchase at your store. So this is, you can do anywhere from 15, 30 to, I believe, 45 days. And what this means is that a pet owner account was created for them and a purchase was recorded on that pet owner account. All right, so you can send them a campaign, welcome to the family, here's a special gift for your next visit. All right, now customer list number 2. This one has to do with lost customers. Now this is the of the highest duration list that you can create. You can do up to 90 days, and these are customers that just haven't been by your store in a while. So when I was managing my store, we typically found that customers would at least come in once a month, to get their bags of kibble and so forth and stock up for that month. But if it went over a month, it was somewhat indicative that they've gone somewhere else or they may be purchasing things, online or something like that. So I do like using this to create campaigns in order to entice people back to your store. You can offer them a My Promotion reward or just advertise the offers that you have going on and let them know about the new things that are up and coming. This one right here is huge. Eligible for frequent buyer redemption, 30-day plus old. So you can do ranges of this. So you can do 30 days, you can do 45 days, you can do shorter than that if you so choose. 30 days is kind of the magic number that I have found. So these are customers that maybe don't realize that they actually have completed a frequent buyer card, which is wild. You would think that, customers would be on it. They would know how close they were to receiving their free goods. And customers on the mobile app are pretty informed. They do know where they're at. But if they don't have the mobile app yet, they may lose track of where they are. So we all kind of realize that, when a customer comes in and they get let's say a free bag of food, they're more likely to spend money on things like treats and toys that day, which typically have a higher margin. So you definitely want to remind these guys, be like, hey, you got something cool waiting for you, come back. And also you can create lists just like this if you're running a points program. You can create eligible for points redemption based on the different points rewards that you have set up on your account. So you can, create it by the name of that eligible reward and then contact those customers and let them know that they have enough points on their account right now to redeem this special reward at your store. You can also create lists that are, of a certain amount of points. So if you have a customer that has X amount of points, you can let them know that they actually qualify for a couple different types of rewards depending on what they want to spend those points on. Pet birthdays. All right. So on all of your pet owner accounts, you are able to record pet information. This includes the pet's name, species, birth month, and birth year, and whether or not they're male or female. So this is really cool because, you can either create a list that says, okay, here's all my pet birthdays for this month, or you can create one for here's all my pet birthdays for next month. And a lot of retailers will use this to create a campaign that includes a special My Promotion reward, basically like a little birthday treat or gift. A lot of people will do free bakery cookies, things of that nature. So this one is a lot of fun. It's also a great way to get your customers involved. So in some cases where they might be a little bit funny about giving you their contact information, in most cases they're going to be, cool about giving you their pet's information to opt them into receiving special rewards. So if you're like, hey, we do birthday greetings, we would love to have your email address and your pet's birthday we can do that for you. And you're more likely to get an email address that way. All right, if you're doing sharing the love, this is a big one. So sharing the love customers are extremely special because in most cases, these are brand new customers to your store. Okay, so they were sent to you. They either saw one of your, social media campaigns, or they were sent to your store by the rescue or shelter where they adopted the pet from. So they're pretty much walking into your store for the first time in order to get this welcome home bundle. So this recipient list will allow you to create a filtered list that shows you, all adopted, like all pets, like all customers who redeemed adoption rewards at your store. So this is really cool because you can say, congrats on your new family, welcome to ours, and then you can also remind them to check their inbox because most adoption programs do have follow-up bounce back coupons that you don't want these customers to miss out on because they only have 30 days upon receipt to come back and redeem that coupon. And they can only redeem that coupon at your store. So it's really, really, really important that you remain engaged with these new customers that have been driven to your store in order to win them over as customers for life, okay? And then this one here, just a general targeted vendor list. And you can either make a bunch of these, like you can make one for Champion, Primal, whatever brands that you carry, or you could constantly edit this guy and adjust the filters and change them depending on what kind of vendor list you need. And retailers will use this to, send targeted campaigns to customers, alerting them to offers that they would be interested in, either, in a situation where they have an active or they've had an active frequent buyer card for a particular brand before. And so they would be, they'd love to know about that offer going on because, they're already a customer. And so a lot of people will use these targeted lists. You can either do it with like an email campaign, but a lot of people will pair these with SMS text campaigns and just kind of send a quick little blurb out and say, hey, we have this offer going on that we think you would be interested in, based on your purchase history or something along those lines. The other valuable thing that this can be used for is if, God forbid, there is a recall on one of the products or brands that you carry, you can create a vendor list pertaining to that, that brand, and then quickly contact those customers and just to keep them informed of what's going on and what you're doing at your store to make sure that, that they're safe and so forth. And then finally, this one's just kind of a bonus. So there's a way that you can create, a mobile app customer list and an SMS text opt-in list. So these are not, I don't really use these so much for campaigning. I mainly use them to track my own progress to see how, if I've gotten customers to go on, like if I've gotten customers to sign up for the app, I like to kind of see that number rise and rise as we've gotten more people to sign up. And then the SMS text thing, same idea, just to get a rough idea, not a rough, but an absolute clear idea of how many customers at any given point have actually opted into these forms of communication. So yeah, that one's just an extra little bonus to get. All right, so as for encouraging growth and just, holding on to customers that you currently have and then encouraging new customers to come in. So your greatest ally is actually going to be the customers that you currently have. People talk. So, the happy customers are going to be running around telling their friends and family like, hey, forget, pet flirt or whatever, go down to, such and such local pet shop. They really know their stuff there. They can answer all your questions and give you what you need. So the first thing is just identifying your customer types. So what kind of customers shop at your store? What do they value? Are they looking for efficiency? Are they kind of like in and out? Do they like browsing? Do they ask questions? Do they hesitate to ask questions? Things along these lines. And then just making sure that you're adjusting things within your store to, catch their attention. Media kits are exceptionally awesome for this, like shelf talkers and things to kind of bring their attention to stuff. for those that don't like to ask questions. And yeah, so just creating value in that way. Ask for reviews. This is such a funny thing, and I didn't realize this until I actually started doing it, how often you will get a yes and how often you will get somebody like right in that moment, like going on to Yelp while they're waiting for you to bring up their stuff and, starting the process to put in a positive review, or Google or any places where there are places for them to put public reviews of your store. These are absolutely invaluable because they will be from the heart, because these customers love you. They want to tell the world about it. So give them the opportunity. Ask them. And then it's really important to establish yourself as a source of answers. You want to educate and enrich your customers. So when I was first learning about pet nutrition, I didn't really know much. I was going to the grocery store. I was walking down to the end of the aisle. I was getting the most expensive bag on the grocery store shelf because I thought that was what I should be feeding my dog. And it wasn't until I started shopping local that I really started learning about, what is a optimal diet for my pets. And the thing that I loved about my local shop that I ended up actually working for in the years later was that they never judged me. And all they wanted to do was just enthusiastically share their knowledge about this stuff with me and show me how easy it was to amp up, my pet's nutritional value. So, you are a resource. Establish yourself as one. Make sure that they're aware. And sometimes it can be awkward, so prompting your staff to collect contact and pet information. It's kind of like I touched on this before. Usually when the pet's involved and the pet's getting some sort of an inclusion or reward, they're more likely to give that information. And you can remind them too that nobody's going to be using that information to contact them other than you. Astro doesn't use your customer list. Vendors don't use it. It belongs to you. So, you can let them know, hey, we send out an email blast once a month. We'll send you personalized notifications about rewards that you're eligible for on the mobile app or the SMS text, things like that. And they're more likely to give that information. And then in a marketing suite, you can also set reminders for your staff to collect this information, and you can program it so it automatically sends welcome emails and so forth. And then the top two, really, honestly, participating in Astro offers and sharing the love. So Astro offers, customers will see repeat value. It'll constantly change. It'll introduce them to new products, new things to incorporate into their pet's diet. And it'll give them something to look forward to every month. What do you got going on, kind of thing. And then sharing the love is just a really great way to feel connected to your community. You're encouraging adoption. You're working with your local rescues and shelters, supporting them. And then you're also inviting new pet owners that might not really know what to do in those first couple of weeks or months, and really establish yourself as a valuable resource to them. And promote your participation in these programs. Get your shelters involved. Get the rescues involved, especially obviously in sharing the love. And make sure to remind your customers what kind of offers you have going on. Let them know that they can use the mobile app to check what offers you have currently going on at your store. Or they can go to your My Astro webpage and check there as well if they don't want to put it on their phone. And the big thing too, the Astro blog. So if you go to www.astroloyalty.com/blog, you'll find our extensive blog up there. So we have marketing guides that we put together every month to help inspire campaigns that you can put together. So you can market your offers and sharing the love using certain holidays and different kinds of events going on in that month that are all pet themed. So those are awesome to check out. I'm actually plugging away and getting August ready to go up very soon. The neighborhood pet section of the blog, these are all educational articles that you can share with your customers. It'll help you either promote certain offers that you might be participating in, or just share general knowledge that you can actually insert your own tips in it and so forth. You can either share it via campaigns in Astro Marketing, or you can share it on your social media timelines and stuff. And then the neighborhood retailer section, this is totally geared towards you. So we're gonna have like our marketing tips, Astro Academy themed articles, things like that, that'll just help you make sure that you're using the tools that you have within Astro and just in your business in general. You're using everything to its utmost potential. So, when things kind of feel like it's just too much, you can go there just for really quick things to kind of help plan and put everything together. And then, of course, fresh news. Fresh news, we kind of call attention to things that are going on in those other 3 categories to make sure that you don't miss anything. So that's probably the biggest one that you want to pay attention to. And we do email links out to fresh news every bi-weekly, so whenever we do publish. And then we also share links if you follow us on social media. So Facebook especially, we will share links to our fresh news articles once they go live. Yeah, and we're here for you. So whenever you want to speak to me directly, you are more than welcome to schedule a call with me. You'll see links to schedule calls with me directly on our knowledge base under the overview article that has all of our videos, and we'll have them added to our main Astro loyalty web pages very shortly. So we're doing a big update on just, beautifying our main pages as well. Yeah, and thank you. So I'm going to actually cut out of here, and I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I was talking about in Astro directly so that you actually see how to make what I was just talking about. All right, so we're under marketing and we're under recipient. So I already went ahead and made a couple of these lists already. And so here you go. So whenever you make a list, you're going to see the name that you gave it, when it was last refreshed, and how many customers were on it previously, like, when you initially, when you last refreshed it, or not last, but the time before last, and then the current customer count. So this is how many customers are on it since I just recently refreshed it. So yeah, the cool thing about these is that they're easily editable. So you can edit them and you can add or remove filters from them. You can refresh them and always bring them up to date, make sure that they're accurate. And there's also a way to view and export. So when you're viewing or exporting, you can choose, to check whatever boxes on here that you want to be included in your view. And then it's just a matter to view, you're clicking view, or to export, you're clicking export. And that's that. So let's go into the actual creation section. All right, so this can get a little bit convoluted just because there's so many filters here. And honestly, the reason there's so many is because we have, a lot of these were put in here because they were requested of us. So Astro is very flexible. So if there is a recipient list filter that your store would benefit from, please let us know, support@astroloyalty.com, and let us know what you're trying to do. And more than likely, we'll be able to create a filter here that will allow you to do that. So let's start with purchases. So for instance, if you wanted to create a vendor-specific list, like one of the ones that I mentioned, all the vendors that you're enrolled with will be listed on here. So you can, select that vendor and you can stop there. If you just want to communicate with customers who are participating with any frequent buyer program or have redeemed any offer related to this brand, you can stop right there and say save and refreshed, and then you can name your list. Whenever you say save and refreshed, you can name it just like that. I spelled that really wrong. I think I did it right. Oh, no, I didn't. Yeah, so you can save it just like that, and it'll start the collection process. But if you wanted to go even deeper, so let's say, for instance, you wanted to talk to customers that were redeeming a specific frequent buyer program for Canada, or you wanted to talk to customers that were maybe close to redeeming a Canada card, which is really cool. So you can, let's say you're trying to gauge maybe like how many customers you have close to redeeming a program card. You can do that just to kind of look for your own information. Or you can communicate with these customers and say, hey, like, you guys are like super close to, you know, completing this card. Come by and see us. So we'll do, yeah. Here's the pet adoption program stuff. So you could, you know, select a specific adoption program, or you can select the any adoption program. And if you were to stop right there, so we have all selected above, all we have is manipulated this folder, this filter right here, any adoption program, and we went here and said save and refresh. That's it. Now you have a list where you can communicate with all of your sharing the love recipients. Remove that. Here's our store visit section. So this is where we build lists to communicate with either your new or your lost customers. So lost are going to be your last purchase. So they haven't made a purchase since this time ago. And then we have our new, which is they've made, you know, this is when they've made their first purchase with us. Okay. And it is possible that they may have come in since those 15 days, but this is just basing it on the very first purchase. You can also speak to guys that are like super coming into your store very frequently and be like, you guys are awesome. We love seeing you every time you come in, you know, things like that. Here's our eligible for frequent buyer redemption. So there's a lot of options here. If you need an option that isn't listed, let us know. We can add it in very easily. So it's extremely easy for us to modify an existing filter. That's like not even a question. So let us know. But yeah, so we're picking usually the magic one, 30 or 45, and that's it. So you would just select that filter, you go up here to save and refresh, and that is your eligible for frequent buyer redemption. And then the loyalty redemption ones are down here. So if you have a loyalty program, you'll see all of your rewards listed here, and you can make a list based on any one of them. You can also make a list based on how many points that they have currently, whether it's greater than or less than. And then this one right here is one that we recently added for our multi-location account. So this will allow you to make a recipient list to communicate with customers that shop at multiple locations within your Astro account. So on this test account, I have 3 stores. So if I wanted to speak to customers that shop at Cat Test Store and one of my Huxley's houses, I would add them both that way. And essentially what that's doing is it's excluding the third one. So I'm only talking to the customers that shop here and maybe letting them know that we're doing like a special, you know, or dog wash-a-thon or, you know, something along those lines. All right. Here's mobile phone and email filters. So we have, you know, customers, this one is helpful. So like this is kind of like for your eyes trying to kind of help figure things out and build this up. So customers that have a phone number entered doesn't necessarily mean that they've opted in for text messaging. So this will give you an idea of how many potential customers that you can have on SMS text if you want to do that. So that's helpful. And then this one will actually tell you specifically who has opted in for text messaging. So this is one that I use to just kind of keep track of where I'm at with getting people to opt into things. And the same for push notifications with a mobile app. If they have the app on their phone, it automatically opts them into receiving notifications from you. So that one's a good to have. Ouch. All right, and then for those of you that have actually created customer tag filters, so these are the filters that you create when you're setting up the settings, like top right-hand corner of your screen on your dashboard. So these are what you can tag your customers and label them as certain things. So like delivery customers, grooming, VIP, you know, or boarding customers, things like that. So you can make, you know, if I wanted to make a list of my VIPs, I would just check that box and make my list. And then we have pet filters. So we do have pet type, and we are going to be adding more because we have things like, horse, hamster, all that. So we'll see those on here shortly. But yeah, you can make a list based on that pet type, their age. This is based on, the year that is entered. And then this is the birthday list. So you can do the this month or the next month list. And just like with anything where you have filters, the more filters that you stack, the narrower your list is going to be. So that is making those. So another one that is a little bit valuable to have, at least with me, is this one right here. So I'm going to show you real quick. Let's just go into it. This is a manual list. So up at the very top, there is a drop down, and it'll default to filtered, which is what I just showed you before. But then you also have an option for manual. Now, I made a manual list that actually has my pet owner account on here with my actual email addresses. This is how I test campaigns that I'm sending out. And yes, we do have a preview on all campaigns, but I know with me, the very first time that I actually sent a campaign, I wanted to see exactly what was going to happen when I hit save and queue for sending. So this will allow you to do that. So you can make your own little test list and add yourself to it. You can also use manual list to create your own manual list for really anything. Like if you just wanted to communicate with one customer, for instance, you could totally do that with this. So yeah, that's an option there. Oh, and every time you save, you'll have another opportunity to enter a different name. So that kind of keeps things very clear. And if you notice, I'm very kind of I want to make sure that they're all kind of labeled in such a way that makes it very clear. All right, so let's see. I do have some poll questions to share. Oh, actually, before I do that, let me go pop out of here into settings real quick. So some of the things that I did mention are here. So we have our customer checkout and information settings. So up here at the top, when you have a new pet owner come in and you're making them an account for the first time, you can have your cashiers require them to enter information or recommend or neither. So, this is totally adjustable however you see fit. You can, change it down the road if you choose to. But I do recommend that if you have, the email address as either recommended or required, or even if you just, neither, I always recommend checking these boxes down here. So this one only is relevant if you're signed up for SMS text, which is an optional add-on, but everybody gets email. So I definitely recommend checking that box, because what that's going to do is it's going to automatically, whoever has an email address added to their new pet owner account will get that welcome email sent to them right away. That email will contain a link for them to verify their email address, which isn't required for you to email them, but it does make it easier for you to email them. And it also gives them links to download that free mobile app, which in my opinion is the most valuable thing, the most valuable thing that you have on here, just for customer engagement. It allows them to update their pet owner account, update their email address. It allows them to opt into email. It allows them to opt into SMS text. They can update their pet's information. They can access their frequent buyer cards, their loyalty points, and they can also see the offers that you have going on at your store. And then this one right here is valuable. I always check this box because it reminds the cashier if they didn't collect something, pet, email, or phone previously, it'll prompt them to do that every time they check out that customer. So it just kind of keeps them asking that question. And they can skip it, they can click it off and move forward, but at least it kind of gets it in their head to start asking for that information. All right, so let's see. Got some polls to share. So I just kind of want to see what everybody's doing right now. And so, yeah, I'll let everybody vote here so you can answer these questions if you like. And then at the end of this, God, I hope I set up the survey. Actually, okay, yeah. So the third question on the poll is just asking you if you want me to go ahead and make those lists, those recipient lists that we talked about. I can go ahead and go onto your account and I can make them for you. And then you can edit them however you need to. You can refresh them whenever you need to, and you can also delete them if you find that you don't need them. So yeah, if you want that, make sure that you say yes to number 3. And the others are just kind of see, you know, what you guys are doing. And then if you have any specific questions, you are welcome to ask them in Q&A. And I would be happy to answer them for you. I'm going to give you all a minute. Okay. Awesome. Okay, cool. So I'll just let that run a little bit, and I do have some news. So next week, we're going to be going into deep diving into template design. This is something that we haven't really touched on in the past. I mean, we've, showed you those capabilities in our knowledge base, but we haven't actually gone in and showed you how to apply padding, essentially spaces, how to center things, alignment, insert block quotes, all of those added things, the stuff that I do every day when I'm making you templates, you can also do because you're using the same suite that I'm using, which is pretty cool. The other thing that we recently discovered is that you can send GIFs. So I'm going to go into templates right here. And I think I have it on here. Yes, I do. So yeah, here's a template campaign that I put together the other day as a little test. And yeah, that image is moving. So yeah, if you guys are able to create GIFs using a platform such as Canva, you can 100% add them to the single image assets within templates and send them in an email, an SMS, or an app notification campaign. It doesn't work on Astro Social, but it does work in campaigns. So yeah, so I'm going to be going over exactly how that works next week, in addition to how I actually go in and edit these bad boys and set them all up, putting up borders and everything too. And another thing to keep in mind as well, right here, since you guys are on the marketing suite, I will always include in the descriptions up at the top, which basically tells you what these templates are for, I will include a bonus Canva template. So this little link right here, let's see, this little link right there, copy pasting that into your browser will give you access to the entire image library that I put together for this month's holiday. So this link will get you all of July's marketing images. So for instance, this one right here. So if you wanted to animate that image, if you wanted to add your own logo to that image, and then once it's added, you would be able to go in and upload it to your My Media section and add it to a campaign. And that's just a little bonus. Like I said, you don't have to do it. All the images that I make already live inside here anyway. So that's going to be under Astro Media, Lifestyle, Holiday are going to be all of the holiday images for a particular month. All right, cool. Let's see, any questions? Where did my polls go? Beautiful. So we're going to do, share those results. Awesome. All right. Well, if there's no questions, I will release you. And yeah, and I hope to see you next week. If you registered for this one, you are more than welcome to attend next one. There's no need to register again. And yeah, I hope to see you next week and the week following. And we're going to continue to do these series with, you know, whatever you guys want to see. We'll make them. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.